What's up, everyone? This is Andrew here with Spark Finance. And have you heard that China is trying to eliminate all paper money in their society and move to an all-new digital national currency that's issued by their central bank? That sounds like it could be a pretty big change here, right, on the world stage. But when you think about it, how many transactions in a given day are you doing on a cash basis where you're paying, actual paper bills to have it completed? Are you usually instead using something like Apple Pay or Google Pay on your phones, PayPal or Venmo, paying on a computer or a phone with a credit card, or even using a credit card or a debit card in person at a location like a restaurant? People are tending to use less and less cash in transactions in the marketplace these days. I mean, are people even using cryptocurrencies for transactions? They might be using that as well, or they might be just hoarding those and holding on to them. But that's something in the future that can change, right? So what China is trying to do here is take this system of going to digital payments to the extreme, right? They're actually trying to make a full economy that is a cashless society and only have the digital currency. Now, China has just been speaking about a digital yuan, which is their name for their currency, like the US dollar, the yuan, which people in their country could use on their mobile phone, or if they were not able to afford a mobile phone, a plastic card that would be similar to a debit card. So you just pull out your phone when you're trying to do a transaction, and you just go and you can go pay for anything using their app. It's called eCNY. CNY is the symbol, the abbreviation for the Chinese currency, the yuan. And you can send and receive money like you can on any other apps, like these Alipay and WeChat apps that people are already using in their economy. So why not just use the official government one, right? And the official Chinese currency. That's the idea behind this all. And we're going to see how it plays out here. Most people in China are already using their phones for the WeChat and Alipay, right? They don't really care if they have to change their habit from one app to another. It's not really a significant change in their daily use and their daily way of making payments. The digital yuan currency is no joke here. It's a real threat to the US dollar, right? The US dollar is the reigning king. And now you're going to have this new digital currency come out that it's seen a lot of potential, and it's going to have over 1 billion users if everybody in China starts utilizing this method of payment. So now let's go into exactly what China is trying to do here with the digital currency, because obviously there are some reasons why they're deciding to do this now. The plan outlined by the Chinese government is that they would issue a digital currency from their central bank, which would replace physical currency being taken out of circulation, and then the digital currency would just be taking its place. So they're just replacing what's already out there. So they wouldn't be increasing the amount of money in circulation. They wouldn't be taking extra money out. Now, this is something that is innovative. A lot of countries are seeing the threat of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies pose a threat to their monopoly on money, right? Right now, a central bank and a government has a monopoly on the payment system. So they don't want anybody to come in and attack that monopoly that they have. And especially in China, they need to maintain relevancy for their own currency despite everything going into this digital future. Now remember, China took steps back in 2017 to try and kind of stamp out Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And they did stuff like they put regulations on Bitcoin mining, and they tried to ban initial coin offerings. So they were trying to take these steps to hamper down on Bitcoin when they started to see it as a threat. Now, China is a command economy. Whatever the people in charge tell you to do, you have to do. That's the way it works. They cannot allow a threat to their dominance of the economy and their control over each individual within their society, because that would be creating cracks in the foundation of their form of government. Now, a potential digital currency for China would create 3 large changes here. First, it would allow the state to completely monitor all economic transactions with their entire economy. That's good for both coming up with new measurements and also doing crackdowns on individuals. And we've never seen anything like this before in modern societies. In comparison, let's see how the United States would track financial information for the Bureau of Labor Statistics and economic reporting, right? For example, in the US, you have the unemployment rate. Unemployment numbers are not actually calculated by totaling the number of people collecting checks for unemployment from the government, because that would be too easy, right? Instead, they do a survey of 60,000 households to determine their employment status, and then they extrapolate that over the population of 330 million people. Now, looking at that, when you take 60,000 people survey to account for a 330 million population, you can see why these numbers can seem widely inaccurate. Now, on the other hand, what if China has this currency and they knew exactly the number of people not getting paid by an employer from a company that are on government payrolls or getting paid without reporting it? If they had some kind of a gambling match or poker, or somebody was paying a friend, they could still track that. That is what this digital currency has the ability to do. And then they can take all of this information and store it on data servers, just like you do with social media when you upload photos and posts, and they store all that information and then can look at it with algorithms. This will create an unprecedented source of economic measurements that could be taken. And when you compare that to something like the United States model for getting statistics, you could see how that would give them a major edge. That's the first big thing, right? Then the second disruptive change would be the power. If someone was going to go out of line here and speak out against the government or their policies, the government could literally shut out that person from modern society. They could stop all financial transactions from going to them. They could take the money out of their account. They could even silently just monitor them to see where they put money. Maybe they're putting it towards political opponents. So you could see how this can really stamp down on kind of dissent within the society. In this method that would be previously unheard of level of surveillance of each individual within their society, we're talking like police state, like 1984 style here. So this gives the government, which is a command economy, exactly what they want: complete control. The third major change is that China can then allow other countries to trade in this digital currency. This would be a direct threat to the US dollar, which is right now the world reserve currency. Right now, not every, but actually 88% of transactions in international foreign exchange are settled in US dollars. Now, this would be huge growth for the Chinese yuan being digital, and that they could take some of that market share. The yuan is currently only 4% in international transactions of that magnitude, right? So if you want to trade something like precious metals or corn or wheat or soybeans on the international stage, it's settled in US dollars. Now, we know what China wants to do here. The Chinese most likely want a greater share of this, as they are becoming a greater part of the economy of the world and are on track to pass the United States as the largest economy. And a few years ago, I believe it was in 2017 or 2018, they even made a contract where you can settle in Chinese yuan for oil. So we know that they're already doing this. On top of that, there was a marketing video that came out in China for the new digital currency, and it showed a man in an American flag t-shirt getting knocked out by a golden coin representing the Chinese yuan digital currency. So we know they want to kick off the US dollar off the world stage. Then there are other bonuses of this currency, right? They would be the first mover to an all-new digital currency. And if you're talking about technology and where innovative companies are going in the future, they might want to be a part of that. It could also help China get around sanctions, right? Because if you're just transferring money within an app, they don't really care about US dollar denominated debt. So if there's only sanctions going back and forth, they can just go around that. It also allows faster transactions and sending of money from one person or a business to another. And it could give people access to money who don't have a bank account. Remember, I think it's almost 2 billion. It's like 1.7 billion people in the world that don't actually have access to a bank account for a variety of reasons and in a lot of poorer areas. So now, here is the crazy side of all of this, right? It was discussed by the Chinese government that the currency could actually be programmable so that they could provide people money and then have it set with an expiration date. That's pretty incredible right there. You need to go spend this new money on whatever you can as fast as possible before the end of the month when it expires, and it will no longer be in your account. So that's unheard of. We never thought of something like that before. Now, what do you think of that for stimulus, right? better rush out and buy like some sneakers or invest in the stock market or something with that money before it expires in a few days. This gives them new economic tools to kind of play with their economy, and then also the data on the back end tracking the transactions and where people spend the money. Are people spending it on everyday needs? Are they spending on luxury or mortgages or anything like that? So you can see where the money's going. Now, this could get pretty crazy too, because you look at stuff like what happened in Cyprus, where I don't know if anybody remembers this, but Cyprus went into rich people's bank accounts and literally had the government just take out money. So what if the Chinese government has complete control of your wealth as an individual and can just do whatever they want with it and take it when they feel like it? Now, this is no cryptocurrency. This is very important to keep in mind here. The whole idea of the digital yuan is the opposite of a decentralized cryptocurrency. Bitcoin's strength is it can be anonymous, it's decentralized, and it's open source so everybody can see the rules. The Chinese digital currency is the complete opposite of all of those things. So this is not a cryptocurrency here, it's a competitor to a cryptocurrency. So when is all of this happening? When is China going to actually fully roll this out into their economy? Well, the Chinese digital currency is already in their marketplace. So that's the pretty crazy thing right there. Over 100,000 people right now are using the required app to do the transactions in digital yuan. Now, this was originally started in 2014, and it's interesting here because this was the time when the government officials in China saw the risk of Bitcoin, and they implemented this. And now in cities like Shenzhen and Beijing and Shanghai, they're actually having people use the currency. They're also planning on giving people in the Winter Olympics in 2022 this app on their phone so that they can issue them currency and they can use the currency. And this would demonstrate on a world exchange, like everybody in the world has people going to these games. So you would see on a worldwide basis, people using this currency, bringing it back to their country and explaining how great this new technology would be. It's kind of almost like having a World's Fair to show off a new technology. So it's an interesting way for them to market this. And right now, China is way ahead of every other country trying to do a digital currency. Nobody else has it on this scale yet. So they're really at the forefront of this. And so where is this trending? In all of this, we are also seeing some underlying tendencies here in today's world. Countries in Asia are seeking to capitalize on the direction of the economic future, while countries in, like the United States or countries in the European Union, they're falling behind on innovation and new technology. Innovation used to come from America, and now they are being led by, innovative companies or innovative decisions in places like China. While the US government tries to ban cryptocurrencies or make them less accessible by labeling them a collectible for tax purposes, the Chinese government is taking advantage of the new economic trend for digital payments and warping it to suit their own needs, right? They see the threat, they see the future of the economy, and they figure out a way that they can do it that suits their own purposes. It's a very interesting way that they're doing this here. This also means that a government could easily expand the money supply on a whim if they have a digital currency. And with money printing being hotter than ever, I mean, look at the pandemic costs of all of the debt going up and the stimulus checks that were released, and also bailing out certain individuals and companies, right? So in the future, if there's no kind of restrictions on that, a country can just issue as much digital currency as they want, and that could cause massive inflation in their economy if they put out too much of it. So that's another thing to watch here that could be potentially bad. But overall, I love seeing these giant trends in different economies and how you can kind of see where the future is going for the world and what are the competing technologies that are occurring right now. And you see how countries like China, the US, the EU, other countries, and I guess political systems are dealing with the changing economies for the everyday individual. Meanwhile, people are going along and just doing what they want to do and transacting the economy and doing it the best way that they see for them. Thanks everyone for watching. This is Andrew with Spark Finance. I hope you like watching the video. If you want to check out some other videos on personal finance, economics, and investing, check out some of the other clips on my channel. But I'm going to have to head out now, so have a great day.